Good evening, YouTube. It is your boy Zulu Gullah. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and we are back with another one. Pleased to be here. Sorry if I've been gone too long. Streams are coming back to me, content coming back to me, so I got to give it to you. And we take the technical approach. We really break down the science of something. We research it to the core, to the root, and pull it out. And that's the only way to get to the bottom of something and figure out what is going on out here. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't do that for you guys. So I've been wanting to shift gears a little bit. Hopefully this weekend I can get back to some of those streams I promised y'all. A couple Passport Bro streams. But I want to shift gears a little bit because I see that I need to focus on 50-50. Um, there has been some confusion about this ratio that has become pure madness. It's just as bad as understanding what dating really is, and you sitting here watching people not figure out that they need to stop dating and they need to go back to courting. But oh well, as long as we got it. But as much I can't believe as much as the manosphere talks about the modern woman and they can't make the connections. They are talk about the modern woman uh 23 hours a day, maybe a little or less based upon how much they sleep or rest, right? And then they'll argue about 50-50 without even making the connection. Where did it come from, right? And you're talking about the originators, the inventors of 50 ratio, just about every day, every stream, the modern woman. Now, you're asking me, how did I make this connection? Right. Well, when women went into the workforce, especially with the movements that happened in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and early 90s with women, in tandem with educational pursuits, professional pursuits, careers, don't you understand that they offered this? This is their thing. But like they normally do, they contradict themselves. They become hypocrites and contradict themselves, right? They originally promised that they could bring their finances, their careers, and their jobs to the table, all the while figuring out how the rest of the household will be broken down and handled together. They did this. But the problem is the biggest problem was student debt. That's the biggest problem. That the educational pursuits, the financial burden to pursue education didn't transpire into the good careers for a lot of them. So a consensus came out to back out is what they normally do on a lot of things. That being, one of them, right? Because I went through this. I went through this two, three girlfriends back. Uh, she was in about 80 grand in student loan debt. And that was the biggest blow to our relationship because I refused to pay that shit. Um, and in her idea, I was gonna pay all the shit because I was the man, right? But when you you go back and investigate our original conversations and plans, it never included her student loan debt. Um, and the original plan that we had, I devised, it actually was working. It was it was a 50-50 deal. Um, but it was working. We had purchased a house, bought a brand new house, had it built from the ground up. Uh, we had our budget down to a T. I actually took over the monthly budget because she was taking some of the money and keeping it for herself. Like the checking account had came up short after a few months, and I was asking her like, "Why is the checking account not growing?" Because I was about growth, right? I was like, "Why is the checking account not growing?" Well, because we had enough money to pay the bill, and I just went ahead and paid it. So I said, "You didn't put any money in there, right?" No, because we already had enough to pay it. So I was like, "Look, check this out. We had an agreement. This agreement was to do things the way that we said we were going to do them, not change them. Okay. And we didn't get this house built by not following the plan. So the checking account is just as important as getting the house built. Stop trying to go against the plan, you know. So it was a constant struggle at a certain point to keep her to follow script, right? Now, it's just it's just as I was saying, they contradict themselves, and they definitely go back on their word. So it wasn't good enough for her to understand that, hey, we got a brand new house built. He devised a plan for us, and she was actually saving money. Don't get it twisted. These women, they save money, but see, they have to be accountable for their money, right? They save money two ways. If you pay for everything, they get to do what they want with their money. If you let them, they'll just waste it and spend it. They won't never save it or put it toward something useful like annuity, a mutual fund, extra retirement, set aside for an emergency as backup, or to even set aside and let it save and build up to start a business together. See, they won't do it. They'll just spend it. You'll free up their entire yearly salary from any overhead, and they'll just spend it. Versus actually doing something for the benefit of you both, a relationship, a marriage, a household. And I'm big on retirement. Like a woman doesn't even offer to help accelerate retirement for the both of y'all with finances, shared finances. It is so sickening. Uh, a few streams back, y'all seen why I done the stream on the couple, the actual real modern day couple, black couple at that. Perfect example why 50-50 works and why it's always actually been 50-50, which is going to be a stream that I've been promising y'all. So I guess I should do that this weekend. It's always been 50-50. And I'm going to take you on a crash course of that. All this arguing back and forth, bickering, who does what, who doesn't do what, and whose role is this and that. We have gotten away from the original way, both men and women. It's just really we at a point of no return, and to argue about 50-50 or any other kind of ratio, to argue about anything right now in American dating culture as far as who's going to do what, probably is useless, hopeless. I just don't see any any repairs being made, any restoration being done. I just don't see it happening. I don't see that it's possible. Uh, point proven is the stream that I put up with the couple hasn't went viral yet. Hasn't went all through the manosphere. Hasn't even been snatched up by women as a template to even understand that. Hey, look, wait a minute. This is what we should have been doing when we went into the workforce and got this education. We could have done this with our men, but we made it difficult, or we were so educated and really couldn't figure it out. So what use was the education if we couldn't figure out what this couple did, right? And I'm first to tell you, I've tried this with many women, and they stick with it for a while, but then they default. And when they default, it's just hard to get them to get back to the goal. So even if hypothetically, because I'm pretty sure they many of these women have came in contact with men like me, um, the good guy, the responsible guy, the nerd. I fall in all those categories. I'm an ex street nigga too, so I'm multifaceted. I fall in all those categories, but that's how I know they came in contact with either one or many of these types of guys. Um, Even some of these guys carry multiple traits like me. I know they came in contact with them, and these guys had good intentions and set out um, something real structured and real productive for them, and they deviated from it. I know this, but they are the originators of this. This is what they first started hollering and screaming behind their educational and occupational pursuits, that they were offered 50-50 deal, or that it would be a 50-50 group effort, that it would be more beneficial and boosting the new elevated black man woman or man and woman dynamic to career oriented corporate educational background people. That was the original creation, marketing, uh, claim. It comes from them. And so I've understood this in a way that nobody else has understood this. But when you keep just listening and listening, listen to all these conversations, all these panels be having, and I could pick them apart. But I'm not popular, and you know, I don't fit in with them because I want real answers. I don't want to talk in circles. I heard the worst conversation last night, and the panel was full, and they was talking about absolutely nothing that made any kind of sense. There was one guy that was making sense, but then they were just being deflective like females, and I was like, golly. But that's something else. So really think about this, right? What were these women supposed to do once they received their education, received their jobs and their careers? What were they supposed to do with a man? Now you got the women who say they don't need a man, single, independent. Then you got the ones that say that they can have it all. But really think about it. The propaganda they put behind this movement, uh, as it started a few decades ago and progressed. What was the propaganda? The propaganda was that they could bring that addition to the household, 50-50. I do remember when um the 50-50 argument first started way back then. I was still a kid. And it was like it should be 70-30 or 60-40. It was funny. I'm talking about, because I was like then I really seen the old school way of doing things. So that's why it was laughable to me. Because I've never seen money not used for the benefit of the household by either gender. That was the funny part, right? I remember both my aunties working part time cleaning houses and babysitting, and they would buy food. They would uh, buy cleaning supplies. They would buy um, things more household oriented within the home. So they would make extra money to do stuff like that. Of course, the man paid all the bills. He bought the bulk of the food, the clothing, stuff like that. Provided the health and dental insurances, transportation. He bought tools, so tools could be used, lawnmowers, weed eaters, manly work outside, you know, women cleaning, washing clothes, cooking, grocery shopping. Uh, so it's mind boggling to me that people have to make this argument and fight between the two. It's a shame that we have 60% black men and women both in the middle class. Clearly, the argument of somebody by women that they can't find somebody that's their equal value or higher is a farce, is a straight lie because both of them are running neck and neck at the middle class. And even that shows you 50-50. If both groups are at a 60% rate in the middle class, that's 50-50 alone. The signs are there. You know, they this could have been done from the very beginning. People are greedy, people want what they want, and people have other issues. Uh, I know what the other issues is. I'm just going to keep it separate from this, but that's what this is about. Go back to the three, four streams and look at that couple. The manosphere does not want you to have answers. These women don't want answers either. This stuff could have been done a long time ago. These are easy fixes. What it is, people can't keep it in their pants and their panties. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. They can't keep it in their pants or panties to team up with somebody to get things done the right way. They can't be content and satisfied with one person and sticking it out to the end and joining forces and combining efforts. They can't do it. They can't keep it in their pants and they can't keep it in their panties. All this talking is a bunch of talking about nothing because everybody is hoeing. Period. You have some people who based everything around um, becoming successful, but it's conditional. So a lot of people that isn't actually hoeing right now, it's because they achieve success some kind of way, especially the people through YouTube. And they finally made it to a point to where they can masquerade as masculine and suitable and uh worthy to be deemed high value and submitted to and stuff like that. But really what it is they got to a point to where they can leverage and things are conditional right now. So it's a matter of leverage and conditions that are being adhered to because of the success. See, I know all these things, right? But that doesn't if you that doesn't make you have to look at them, you know, in a way with suspicion or anything like that. Just look at it for what it is, as I tell it to you. So you'll know that, okay, it took you to get to this point to feel comfortable and confident, start talking and acting a certain way and displaying things a certain way. But it wasn't real world work. Uh, it was a hustle and a money grab. So now that we see what it is, you know, we definitely know it's conditional, right? Especially these guys that it happened to within this space, and then they talk about I pay 100% of everything. You know, and it's like, okay, yeah. I remember at one point you didn't do that though, but now all of a sudden you pay 100% of everything. Huh. Okay. Well, anyways, it doesn't matter for me, but however, I know there are guys that's going to have to deal with this environment. So I have to give them the best information possible. It doesn't matter to me because I'm a passport to die. I don't even care. But there's nothing you can make me do to pair up in the matrix. I'm not pairing up in the matrix. I'm going to passport to die. Period. But just think about that, fellas. Really think about where did this 50-50 come from? And these women created it and argued for it and then backed out of it. Um, and then they probably really never had any intentions to do it. That's why you really don't hear about a lot of success stories involving uh, the utilization of such a ratio or formula. You don't hear a lot of success stories about it. You know, I just happened to stumble across it. Um, now, if you really want to go a little further, right? These women don't understand numbers anyway. They just don't. It's hard to get them to follow structure and stick to a goal or plan, and they don't understand numbers. They have a default. Um, they have a default in chaos button, whatever you want to call it. At some point, you will not be able to contain it. They just have it. You could lay out a perfect pathway for them, and you can talk about roles and who does what, whose task is this and that. And you can do a presentation, a PowerPoint, slides, whatever. That default and chaos mechanism that they possess, it just it would eventually destroy what would be devised. And that is what you see with the statistics and numbers all across the board. That is what you see. They didn't even understand the number they created. This is your boy Zulu Gullah. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I'm out, man. I'm gonna get with y'all later. See y'all later this weekend.